Even if you know what is coming, nothing can prepare you for how it feels. When someone you love is coming to the end of their journey, nothing can prepare you for how much it hurts. We gather here today to celebrate the life of Eunice Catherine Rothmaler. For those of you who do not know me, I am Bethany Rothmaler, one of Eunice's many grandchildren. I would like to celebrate her love, the love others have shown to her, and the impact she has made on all our lives. I want to share with you some of the ways my grandma has touched my life and the lives of my family through her love of cooking, her sense of humor and socialization, and the utter devotion she's shown to her children and the families they've created. My grandma, the fantastic lady that she was an even better cook. I always remember going to visit in New York, and the moment we walked into the door, my grandma asking if we were hungry. Though we might not have been hungry at the time, we always got fed. One of my favorite things to eat at my grandma's house was her potato salad. Even though she didn't like to peel the potatoes or make this specific dish, she would always make it for me because I loved it. She even taught me once how to make it, but mine doesn't compare to hers. Even after years of going to my grandma's house, I always found something new to try. A couple years back, my grandma made a goulash, which I had never tried before, and to this day it's still one of my favorite dishes. My brother Gus, Jr., one of her other grandsons, said his favorite memory is when everyone tried to be in my grandparents' kitchen at once. My grandparents' kitchen is about 10 by 13 feet. He said Grandma would always yell and say, "Get out of my kitchen!" No one wanted to get the wrath of my grandma while she was cooking. Since she always yelled this at everyone, it's been passed down through generations, through all the siblings, and we still say it in my family when people are too smoshed in the kitchen while we're cooking. No matter her age, my grandma would always put her input when people were cooking. Recently, my aunt was making sauerbraten, and my grandma, from the chair in her room, was trying to put her feedback into her cooking. My grandma said, "I would make sure to put those dumplings on towels." My aunt just shook her head and laughed and said, "Okay, Mom, I will." With her endless recipes and boisterous attitude, my grandma was always one to keep everyone on their toes. Though cooking was one of the many things I most enjoyed doing with my grandma, Gus, one of her sons, and my dad loved her sociable side. My grandma was the life of the party at any given moment. One of the many things my dad remembers is watching TV with his mom. Though TV was limited when he was a boy, he remembers watching the Carol Burnett show with his family. He told me once that I remember watching the Carol Burnett show with her and her always having such a hearty laugh. My dad still loves to watch the Carol Burnett show and remember good times with his mother. My grandma was also a really big fan of hockey. If there was ever a game on, she would always have it on and be cheering on her team. Another memory of my grandma that my dad told me is that she used to love to socialize with her church friends. Her church friends would come over for dinner frequently, and they would also go on camping trips. Their families would commingle and have fun. They would always have a great time. My grandma knew how to have a good time when it came to family and friends. But in the same way that my grandma could be the center of attention in a social gathering, my grandma was the center of our family. Dedication is an understatement when it comes to my grandma caring for the people in her family. We moved to New York when I was about 3. Though we moved nearly 1,000 miles away, my grandparents always made it a priority to come and visit. Every summer around my dad's birthday, my grandparents would make the trip out to Illinois to see us. My grandma and grandpa would do anything to make sure to see their son on his birthday. Like those visits my grandparents made, one time when I was around 10, my entire family made a trip out to visit us for Christmas. We had a house full of people in our house, and I remember my grandma working her tail off to make a great dinner for upwards of 15 people. This dedication to taking care of people she loved, no matter what the scenario was. She always made sure to take keen interest in all our own interests, even though they may have differed. My brother Brian another one of her grandsons, remembers that she got my brother Gus the newest Harry Potter book whenever it came out. My grandma never really liked the books, but she did love to read. She was the person that got my brother hooked onto the Harry Potter series. She would always just sit in the room with us while we were reading or doing anything to just hang out with us so we could enjoy each other's company. During the time when they stayed at our house, she would always like to start puzzles. We would all sit around the dining room table and try to finish the puzzle before they left. After we finished, we would glue it together with Mod Podge, and we got to hang it on our basement stairwell so that we would always have a memory of our time together. My grandmother always tried to play hostess no matter what she had to do to keep her family happy. My grandma was not very mobile in her later years. Recently, when I went to visit, we had a dinner for most of our family. She still tried to help do prep work for the dinner. She took out the plates and the silver so that we would all have the nice china to eat on. She got pretty winded easily, but still managed to help get some places set. But because she was unable to finish the task, I had to help complete it, but with her instructions on what to do. She always made sure to try to be the hostess with the mostest and trained her children to be the same way. For that dinner specifically, my grandma wasn't able to help prepare because she wasn't mobile, but my aunt made sure that she had everything under control. She had made pies, the dinner, and made sure that everyone was satiated when they left my grandma's house. This is something that made my grandmother happy. These memories are just a part of the reason on how much I will miss my grandmother. I can't share everything or really put into words how much my grandmother means to me, but her love of family, outgoing life with friends and family, and her ability to cook are just a minute part of what I loved about my grandmother. I want to thank everyone for coming out today and letting me share the memories of my grandmother with you. Thank you for sharing your love of Eunice and supporting our family in such a difficult time. My grandmother would not want us to be sad today. She would want us to celebrate the great things that we had and still have together. In the words of Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.